G'day folks, have I got a treat for you today? Something totally different. Today I'm smoking redfin in my fish smoker, redfin fillets.
Hey you! You're watching Robbie Cooking.
Now before I get stuck into filleting and then smoking this redfin, I just want to give you a bit of a story, a bit of background as to why I'm doing this. A few people have asked me, hey Rob, have you ever tried smoked redfin? Well, I have. Back in the 1980s and early 1990s, I used to love my fish smoker. I had a little box smoker, and I used to smoke a lot of trout. I was never big on the whole marinating and soaking overnight and blah blah blah. I just used to catch them, gut them, wash them, put them in the smoker, and they were always really, really good. I filleted a couple, but I found the fillets shrunk too easily if it got too hot. So I just preferred them straight out of the water, straight in the smoker. One day I thought, why don't I try a redfin? So I kept a nice redfin. It wasn't big, maybe 25, 28 centimetres or something. This is 30 years ago. And I smoked it. I put it in the smoker and I smoked it like I would any trout. And I didn't like it. I found it was really sticky. I seemed to get a lot of scales in my mouth. I don't know, it wasn't nice. I didn't enjoy it at all. So I never done it again. And then just recently a few people have been asking me, and I thought, you know what, I used to love my smoker. I should go out and buy myself a new fish smoker and try again. So I did. I went out, I bought a fish smoker, and the first thing I smoked was a big redfin that I caught last week. It was 39 centimetres. I got a few tips off some of the wonderful people that support me on Patreon. Thank you very much for my patrons. And they said soak it in this, then that and the other. So I filleted the fish. I actually was told, leave the rib cage in and the skin on, just cut the fillet off the side and smoke it like that, then pull the bones out. But by the time I got that information, I'd already filleted it completely and I had two really clean fillets. So I smoked the fillets. They were nice, they were really nice. They were much nicer than the ones that I ate, or the one that I ate years ago. But they were a bit strong. I don't know whether the marinade was too strong. I had water, I think I had brown sugar, a bit of soy sauce, maybe was the vinegar in there, I can't remember, I followed the instructions. And it was okay, but it wasn't as nice as I thought it would have been. But it was a big improvement on what I'd done years ago. So today, I'm gonna smoke another one on the camera. I'm gonna smoke another one, sorry. This time I'm smoking it on the camera. I'm gonna fillet one whole. I've got one big redfin, it's 40 centimetres. I'll fillet the fish, and I'll fillet one properly, skin, bones, everything out, and I'll leave the other one with the rib cage on and the bones in, and I'm not, with the skin on and the bones in, I'm not gonna marinate it or anything like that. I'm just gonna, like I used to back in the 90s with my trout, I'm just gonna smoke them plain and see how they come out. Before I do, let me show you some footage of me catching the fish, and then we'll go into me filleting, and then the smoker box. Folks, I've hooked up and he's a good fish. I missed the hook up on, I didn't get the hook up on film. He's a good fish, he's a keeper, this one. I've got a lot of line out, so it'll feel heavier, but I reckon this is a good one. It's not a monster, but I reckon it's a good one. I reckon I'm going to be looking for the landing net for this fish. There's a bit of weight in it. Oh yeah. Where is it? Oh yes, look at that for a beautiful redfin. There's my net. I knew it. I've been feeling it all day. I've been feeling that I'm going to catch a good fish today. And there it is. After a heap of small fish, the Halco Crazy Deep has landed me a good fish. A good fish. A good fish. Look at this. This is my biggest Lake William Hobble redfin for quite some time. I've got one hook out. There it is, folks. That's a good 35 centimetre redfin, I reckon. 32 to 35 centimetre. You beauty. I might get a quick photo, and then I'll get my line back in. Rightio, now here's my redfin, all 40 centimetres of it. Remember, I'm going to take the fillet off one side, and then I'm going to, the other side I'm only going to half fillet. Now I can cut in that way and then around, or I can just cut the head off, which is the way I prefer to do it with redfin, is cut the head off. And one of the good things about being next to the water, the river, is that is now going to get eaten, probably by a crayfish or a yabby or something. I prefer to just break the head off. With a bigger redfin like this, I usually cut along the back, like that, right down to the tail. And then rather than stuffing around, cutting around the bones, I'll just put my knife next to the backbone there, and I'll just go yank. I'll start sawing in. It is harder with bigger fish. With smaller redfin, you can fillet them almost as though they've got no bones. But here we go, I'm getting through. And you've got to be very careful at all times naturally, because I don't want to lose a finger. Right, looking good. There's one side off. There are other ways to do this. You can cut around the bones. This is just the way I prefer to do it. I find I end up with less bones doing it this way, and that's what it's all about when you fillet a fish. Right, there's the backbone out of it. The head's gone, the backbone's gone. Now what I want to do is, which one's got the most fins on it? This one. So that's the one I'll skin completely. What I now want to do is cut these front fins off. And like I said, some people do this before they fillet the fish. I'll cut in and around, but I prefer to do it this way. Right, now this one here, this has got no fins on it, so this is the one that I'll leave the skin on. So what I'm going to do is just tidy up the end here a bit. I'm going to leave the skin on and bones in. I'll give that a bit of a wash before I smoke it. But that's going in the smoker just like that. This one here, I'm going to get the bones out. I'm going to change to a much longer knife now. And I'm going to cut around these bones. There's the rib cage. Gone. I want to cut these top fins out. There's always bones around that fin. And that's it, no other fins. Now I'm going to skin that fish, that fillet. Right. Now there's my two fillets, one with the rib cage in and the skin on, as it's been suggested that I do, and one clean. No bones, no skin, no nothing. I'll give that a wash, then I'll get the smoker ready. Now there's my smoker. I'm just standing off to the side because it's so shiny, all you'll see is my reflection. That's a wild fish smoker, and I bought it at Adventure Camping and Fishing just last week. Now I'll step back into frame, I'll take the lid off. In here, I've got two trays. I've got two sawdust options. I've got rose gum and scribbly gum. And then I've got my smoker box. Let's start from the bottom and work my way up, and I'll explain it all to you. These are the ovens or the stoves. They're the alcohol stoves. That's what you put the metho in. They're the burners. They lift out of there. They're the burners. The rest is just the stand. With the burners, you only want them half full. Maybe it all depends how much you're smoking. If you've got something big in there, you want to fill them up. But for the best part, half full is enough. But you want to, you always want to fill them outside of the smoker and then put them back. If you're trying to fill them in here and you spill a bit of metho, well, all that will catch fire and there'll just be way too much heat for your fish. So you just want to fill them away from there and then gently put them in there. Now the smoker itself, That's the bottom. It's only been used the once, this one. Obviously just sits on top. This tray here, you put that tray there. Oh, sorry, I missed a bit. This little bit of a depression down here, this oval, that's where you sprinkle your sawdust. You put your sawdust in there. In fact, I might even do that there now while I'm getting ready. I'll go with a scribbly gum. I really don't know which one's better. You don't need a huge amount. Even that bit just there is probably enough, but I'll put a bit extra in. Always better to have too much than not enough. Alright, just a thin layer on there. This goes on top of that. That's a drip tray that catches all the drips and fat or anything that drips out of the fish. So the smoke won't come straight up and hit the fish. It'll come out from around the bottom of this tray. It'll hit that, and then it'll come out around the bottom and smoke the fish. I've got two trays here, a low one and a high one. I'll put the low one in, and then I'll put the high one on it, and I'll use the high tray to smoke my fish, just to keep it up off the heat a little bit. And then you put the lid on, and that's about it. Now, something to think about. There's two different types of smoking when you're smoking fish. Hot smoking and cold smoking. This is hot smoking. Essentially, I am baking the fish and flavouring it with smoke at the same time. Cold smoking is when the temperature stays quite low, usually only 20 or 30 degrees, and the fish is cured with the smoke. And a lot of other cultures, they will have their, like a smoke house. They'll have one side of it with the heat, then a chimney running through really cold air into where the meat is, whether it's fish or red meat or whatever they're smoking, so that by the time the smoke gets there, it's cold. And the cold smoking is something that normally takes 12 or 15 hours. Hot smoking takes 10 or 15 minutes. Right, let's get the metho on and get the fish in. I reckon that'll be enough. So far I haven't spilt a drop, and that's good. All is looking good. Now when I smoke the fish, I can leave that open so there's lots of flames come out, or I can close it so that it sort of smothers the flame a little bit. And to be quite honest, I've only used my old smoker from when I was younger, only had one burner, so I don't know what's best. So I might just go half. I'll have them half opened and see how that goes. Righto, now here's my fish. I've got them on a bit of paper towel, just to try and get a bit of moisture out of them to make them a little bit drier. I want them baked, not steamed, if you know what I mean. And this is the one with the skin on. Skin on, skin off. I think that way will be better. I made sure that I didn't forget anything today. I wanted to get this perfect. I wrote a list down of everything that I'd need to make sure that I didn't forget anything, and I've just now realised what I did forget. Something to scrape them off that with, but that's okay, because I'll take them out and allow them to cool down, and I should be able to get them off with my hands. I was going to be like an egg lift, but I forgot. But anyway, I haven't lit it yet. I haven't got a lot of room here, that's why I'm putting that on there. I'll go and get something, we'll light it, get smoking. Now you can see here that I've spilt some metho. It must have been when I leant on the table a minute ago. It must have just splashed out the side. That's bad. That's really, really bad. I don't think it would matter too much, but it would, it just makes too much heat, and I don't like too much heat. So I'll clean that up with a bit of paper towel. Get rid of as much of it as I can so that if it does catch fire, it doesn't burn for too long. Right, now I'm going to light it. I'm not sure whether you saw the video I made last year with this little electric lighter, but it's the coolest thing ever. It's like a little taser gun. Doesn't matter how windy it is. I've just got a docket here that I've found in a bag. Alright, we've got fire. There's one. there's the other one. One of the problems with meth though is you can't actually see it burning. I can feel heat though, so they're burning. So what I'm going to do, put my fish up on top, put the lid on, say goodbye to the fish as we know them. I reckon, look, I really don't know how long you're supposed to give them. I think 10 to 15 minutes is normally enough. But I'll give them 10 minutes and I'll check them. Some people say don't take the lid off and don't check them, just leave them or you let the smoke out, blah, blah, blah. I'm not that much of a perfectionist. I can't even say the word gee whiz. I can't even say the word perfectionist. That's how unperfectionist I am. Anyway, I'll leave that, and within a couple of minutes we should start seeing smoke come out. Now these things do go out. Sometimes they don't get enough airflow. This is a good one because I can actually look under there and see whether it's burning, although at the moment I can't see. I can see flames there. It is very hard to see. They're going, they're burning. They can go out, so if you don't start seeing smoke within a few minutes, you might want to lift it up and just check that your burners are burning, but they're burning. Let's check it in about 10 minutes. It's been going for a couple of minutes. I can smell smoke. It is working. It doesn't hurt just to lift that off and see that they're both burning. That won't hurt. All is looking good. Well, now they've been going for about 10 minutes or so, so I'm going to have a quick look at them. I reckon they're going to be done. Is that hot? Look at that, looking good. I reckon they're done. I reckon 10 minutes is going to be long enough. They're quite thick fillets. So I might just give them a couple of minutes longer. I'll just give them a couple more minutes. I'm a little bit paranoid when I cook. I just like things to be a little bit overdone rather than underdone. So I'll just give them another 2 or 3 minutes, then I'll take them off. They're probably good now, but I just like to be on the safe side. Righto, let's take them off. All up, they've had about a quarter of an hour. How hot are these handles? That one was alright before, but this one was a bit hot. Yeah, it's a little bit warm. I'll take them off. I'll go and get the lids and I'll snuff them out. Didn't do a very good job, did I? Ow, far out, that's hot. I bumped my finger on the side here. Don't do that. These little lids that are meant to snuff the flame out don't seem to work as well as you'd like them to. And that whole thing's very hot, as I just found out. Righto. How does it look? Oh, look at that! Mamma mia! I'll take my camera off its tripod there. Look at that! I'll let them cool a little bit and then I'll take them off and put them on the plate. Get a bit of salt, a knife and fork, and load up. Well, here we go, the finished product, and it looks magnificent. This is the one with the skin on. This is the one with the skin off. They actually came off that rack really, really easily. I stuck my fork under. The one with the skin was easy. I was worried the one without the skin would break, but it didn't. Let's see how hard it is to get the bones out. Look at this. They're just going to come straight out by the looks of it. Big shout out to Ross from Fish Talk. He's the one that suggested leave the bones in for this bit. I can't see a huge amount of benefit to leaving the bones in or taking them out, other than you save yourself a bit of time filleting. It's a bit quicker when filleting. You don't have to sort of fillet and skin, but the bones came out really well. I'm going to put a bit of salt on then and see what they taste like. Righto, I'm going to put a little bit of salt on. Now this is plain, remember, there's been no, not much salt coming out. I don't like to open the hole too much in case it pours out. This is plain. There's been no marinades, no nothing. I'll take a bit from the same spot and try it. That is so good. Now I'll take a bit from up or down this end and try that same spot. That is truly magnificent. I'm going to shut the camera down while I enjoy the fruits of my labour, while I eat the rest of this fish, and then I'll come back with my final thoughts. Well, I didn't leave much, did I? I didn't leave any. Just that little bit of skin which I'll feed to the animals. Well, come on, Robbie, tell us what it was like. Okay, I will. It was just absolutely beautiful, absolutely magnificent. I enjoyed every bit of it, and I found myself wanting more when I was finished, which is a good thing. This was the best way. Smoking them whole was no good. Smoking them with the marinade, well, that's an individual preference. Some of you might prefer that. Me, personally, I prefer them just natural. All natural, out of the river, filleted and in the smoker. Definitely you should fillet a redfin if you're going to smoke it. That's my number one advice. The marinade is up to you. Now, skin on or off, I don't really think that matters. I think the main advantage to leaving the skin on and the bones in is that it speeds up the filleting time. So if you've got a heap of little redfin, and I like to keep a lot of small redfin, if you've kept a lot of small redfin, well, you might prefer just to whip the side off, chuck them in the smoker. You don't have to worry about filleting them. But if you're only doing one big one, well, it's totally up to you. I didn't find any difference to the flavour or the texture or anything by leaving the bones in. All I found was that it saved me a little bit of time processing the fish or filleting the fish. Anyway, folks, that's my smoking redfin perch video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful and entertaining. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up. Thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.